doing our train project from the trains from like 1900s to 1910. Um, she's talking. I'm trying to talk. We have like bells. Sorry.
We're guessing that's what they use to like
Yeah, it's kind of hard
say
to work,
together.
but it's alright. So, oh wait, is this a wheel? This isn't even the front.
I think this is how they steered it.
Even though
This
this
is how the
is
conductors.
fine. So what's this?
It's probably the brakes. So
We can't be clueless in the video. We gotta know what we're doing. Yeah, we.
Oh yeah, it's locked right there. You need a key.
this is where the conductor would sit.
It's really tiny.
Yeah, it's really claustrophobic. I wonder.
It's really claustrophobic. Tell me that start over.
Like really claustrophobic in there.
Oh, they didn't cover the lights like how they did. In
Yeah,
the
this is the
these are
1907s.
open bulb lights.
In like the 1930s, they like covered it and like perfected the trains, so it was like covered
They
with.
modified them.
For the people.
So this is a jiggy.
I wish that did something. I'm sorry. Sorry. I scared you. Doesn't do anything anymore. We kept it on the train because we wanted to like keep the interior true to how it would have looked when it first started to run. But truthfully, we had to cut a bit of the roof off.
Is this duct tape? Or is that just the paint? Oh,
That is a piece of tape, actually.
Oh.
But
You guys did that?
pretty old tape. That was done by the guys that restored this train. So that wouldn't have been on here originally. But they had to use that for some reason.
These were the commercials that they had in the 1900s. Advertisements that they had in the 1900s. You need a biscuit. What?
National Biscuit Company?
Okay. Alright. So these were the cushion covered seats. Oh, not cushion.
This is like, I don't know.
Jeez,
What would you describe that as? Like
like basket weave.
Yeah, basket seats. I mean, I don't even know if they're.
They're not really soft. Well, these chairs weren't that soft. So.
Oh, they're talking about football with the war. So it's around World War One, right?
Yeah. They have like a lot of food ads. Like,
Yeah.
we have some
Like
canned
soup
foods
And
over here.
we have National Biscuit Company.
Yeah, over there.
Look how this woman's dressed. Is that a tie? She had like a loose shirt and a tie.
It looks like
Yeah.
she's like a sailor.
Is she doing laundry? I think that.
Yeah.
That's
she's
so-
doing
Yeah, 10 cents.
And 10
Jeez.
cents.
And there's like food over here again. Some, I don't.
Is that cake or
Pancake,
Yeah.
I think.
So
baking
homemade.
powder?
Yeah, they had a lot of food ads over here.
How do you get your clothes so white? Oh, that's easy. I use Rinso.
They have saltines. Over here, it says that Arrow shirts with starch cuffs are product.
Ladies, let me tell you a little bit.
Yes,
So
and get the
this-
information out in your video. You can listen to her and you guys can.
So this was built after the subway was built, but these trains were not subways. That's important to know. And, you know, because of the material,
It's not metal, it's wood.
right, it's wood. So these were elevated trains. So if you look at some of the older maps, you'll see that there are these lines on it that aren't subway lines, and those were old elevated lines. So before the subway came along, there were lots and lots of trains in New York, but they were all above the ground. So before they decided to dig under the city, they put all the trains above the city. And the trains all look like this, right? And they ran from 1870 all the way through to 1973, just like this. I mean, can you imagine people today riding on a train like
Is this
this?
the train that ran in Canarsie?
There was, actually, you know what, I don't know if the elevator train went all the way to Canarsie. There was a trolley line that went to Canarsie from the end of the subway, but I don't know if there was an elevated line. That would be a good thing to find out. That would be a really good thing to find out. So you use this handle, and that winds that it's exactly the same on this side. So you use this handle and that will close,
So
right?
you can let people in.
So you let people on and off. So this is known as a gate car.
What was this for?
So the rope inside, the rope up here, went through the hole above the door. There's a teeny little hole, okay? Yeah, and that was attached. So the conductor, you know, like we ring the bell
Because it
for
was
the
like
bus?
hard for me to like ring it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, because it's not intuitive, is it? Can I ring it for you?
yeah. That wouldn't be that easy to just keep doing that over and over.
And the
Right.
conductor space is like really small.
Yeah, are we?
Really small,
Yeah.
and that's where the driver sat. Look how much room he has. Like, no room. No. And these are the driver controls right there. And he would have had handles that he would have removed from the train and carried with him. Handles that would make the train go and make the train stop. And there was so much work to do on this train. This is like the most manual train. The doors, manually operated doors. There were no maps. There were no maps because you were above the ground, right? So you could actually see where you were going, but then the conductors would have to walk. There's no speakers. There's no fans.
So how did the conductor like get information to the passengers?
Oh, well, there would be one conductor for every car because there was so much work to do. Because you're opening and closing gates, you're ringing bells, you're opening and closing doors, right? If you look at it from the outside, there's a lot of information on the outside too. Hang on, let me grab this or I'll leave
So
it.
technically, would you consider this like a bus?
No,
since
this was
said it's an
definitely
elevated,
a train.
Yeah, but
Definitely a
it's
train.
like above ground and like.
But it's way up above the street. So here, look, this is what they look like. Let me show you. They looked like this. Okay.
Oh, they always have like train tracks like that.
This is like subways that go above the ground. No different, except the trains are made of wood. So the tracks are not as strong as tracks that hold up subway trains today. Okay?
Shouldn't the ones above be stronger?
You would hope that they were, right?
And these trains are really heavy too. These wood trains are really heavy.
Concrete in the bottom. Concrete to keep them on the tracks, right? Because you want them heavy on the bottom. How much time do we have, Alyssa? Like, information on the outside of the train too. If you look up there at the front, can you see the lamps? So you've got these lanterns. And they have different colours on them. That was,
we were wondering what
that was all information. So the handles underneath, again, that was another part of the conductor's job. If you look at those handles, the colour of that little circle corresponds with the colour of the light.
Red, yellow, green.
So they're going to show those, and that's going to give information to passengers. I don't know what all the colours mean. That might be also something that you can research. I don't know exactly what all those colours mean. It might mean like this is a return, this is a round trip.
Okay,
or,
stuff like that.
yeah, it might be more informational that way. And then, how do you know what company operated this? Because again, this is operated by a private company. It's going to tell you because it's
Says it all, yeah.
all the way down.
Brooklyn Rapid Transit.
Right, there you go. BRT. And you saw those letters etched into the glass on the wall, right?
So these light bulbs were really like this in the.
All these light bulbs, these are all original to the station.
unscrew the light bulbs and like.
Oh wow!
They really did. They said, yeah.
Take these light bulbs.
Until they figured to thread them the opposite way.
Oh.
So as time went on, they figured out, oh, if we make the way we thread our light bulbs the opposite way to the way people can do it at home, then they won't steal them anymore. Another couple of things let me point out to you ladies. One really sort of thing to think about in this train is the materials, right? So you were noticing what the seats are made out of. We know the train's made of wood, but think about how much wear and tear seats like this could take. Think about how much wear and tear these handles could take, right? If you look up and down our train, these are all reproductions. So these aren't the original ones. The original ones actually were made of leather, but even these, look how dirty they are. And they would get broken and frayed. So this is material that you have to keep changing. You don't have things inside the train that will last the whole life of the train. Today, when we ride on the subway, we're going to ride on that train, and that train is not going to change for the whole time that it's carrying people. So for 40 or 50 years, everything inside that train is going to last. But on this train, I mean, this... Yeah, they got broken all the time.
Oh, these are just like repaired?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this has all been restored. There's no way that this lasted 100 years.
But these were there from like before, right? Or they... Like they
no,
had
all
to...
the handles were exactly like this. They were just made of leather. So cool. These are canvas. This is why we're called strap hangers. Right, we're called strap hangers. People that ride on the subway. Have you ever heard of that? There's a campaign called the Strap Hangers campaign. Right? That's because people literally used to hang from straps.
What is this made out of?
This is made out of canvas. So these are canvas reproductions, and canvas is not as strong as leather, and it's actually really brittle. But even these are kind of gross.
So the other ones were like black?
No, they were leather, so they were probably more like a tan colour. They were probably pretty accurate. The colour of them is probably pretty accurate to what they look like.
Cool.
There's a World War I ad.
Shall we be more tender with our dollars than with the lives of our sons?
Buy a Liberty bond. So they were asking people to invest money, to give the government money. And the government were going to spend that money on the war effort. So they were asking everybody to contribute. What's that one? Look at that one for gum. That's a cool one. For
Wrigley's.
Look
Oh, what's that?
at that.
Oh wow, this was it used to be from here.
Yeah,
This
look how old.
19,
I never
oh my
knew that. Like how old
It's really
gum
old
is.
gum.
I
Really.
feel like I'm like every day.
Yeah.
Doing it right now.
Yeah.
It's sold all
Oh,
over
look,
the
and there's
world.
the next
All this
one.
fresh.
And you think about it,
Wrigley's
girls,
gum.
when people were riding on this train, when it was first built, women couldn't vote. Women didn't really work outside of the home.
Experiment.
So all the pictures of women are quite interesting. So there's all the pictures of women doing housework.
Does it say how much it was?
There are a lot of prices on a lot of the ads.
1776 soap powder.
Well, the Campbell's ad tells you it's 12 cents a can.
Yeah, we saw it.
Right.
Yeah, we were talking about the food ads, like a lot of them.
Right. Lots of food. That tells you a lot about the people that were riding the train. Because they chop about a foot of the roof off. And then they drove it in, like any other train. It operates the same way that the subway operates.
Why'd the roof have to come off to get it in here?
Because it was too tall. It wouldn't have fit.
Oh.
Yeah, we had to get that much off. So this was all, these trains were all restored in Coney Island. Coney Island train yard. So these were all brought back to life by transit workers. Not by museum people, but by transit workers. And then they donated them all to the museum.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Outside it says the train decade is 1907, but then it says the service was from 1908 to 1969.
Right, so they built it, they maybe they were testing it for a little while before they ran it. So they didn't, originally these trains were pulled by a steam engine when they first started. And when we figured out how to make electricity move a train, the city decided that they wanted to make all of the elevated trains move using electricity and stop using steam engines, because steam engines are noisy and they drop stuff through the tracks on people's heads like coal dust and oil and ash. And so they said, let's electrify everything. And so they had to install third rail on all of these elevated lines. So it might have been that it got built in 07 and they were experimenting and testing it out, and then it went into service a year later.
Alright, so just to like get it like to be clear, these trains aren't subway trains, they're
Elevated
Elevated trains. That means
trains.
that they were outside and they were high up.
Kind of like
the
what we
train.
have now.
yeah, we
like the
still have it
trains
now.
today.
They're like above, like you can see them like driving over bridges or whatever.
And if you're wondering how they got them in here, they had to like chop them in half and chop the roof off because it was like really tall. And then they
Yeah.
just drove it in here like a regular train. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
So you could tell because like they're made of wood instead of metal.
Steel and metal.
Yeah, the subway trains are made of metal and these trains are made of wood. So yeah.
And they have these
Strap. These aren't the ones from back then, because the ones
Yeah.
from back then were made of
These-
leather.
yeah.
That's canvas.
Yeah, this is canvas now.
when they restored them, they made it
Yeah.
out of canvas.
They restored most of this stuff. Like these seats, they were much more like
Yeah, torn and broken.
so they
Everything
like polished and
yeah.
fixed it all.
It couldn't last like the
Yeah.
whole life of the
Excuse me?
whole entire time of the train.
Yeah.
So for the conductor, he had to like take off the handles and like take it home with him. Yeah.
a conductor for each train.
Yeah.
Yeah, sitting in each train since they don't have like the speakers or anything.
With the passengers.
Yeah, they had like conductor in each train.
You'll
like-
stand right there and we'll be like Church Avenue.
Yeah, but it was easier to see because like you're above ground, so like the
Yeah.
signs outside and you can see like
You
where
know where
you
you
are
were.
and stuff. I mean, to me, it's kind of like a bus, but okay.
Yeah.
Also, it's pretty much, I think we said this already, but it's pretty much like food ads here.
Most of it is food and soap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
food and soap and
They have a few
Cooking
World War I
Ads.
ads.
yeah.
Ads. Oh, there's clothes right there. Cuffs.
Yeah, we showed them.
Yeah. And the women weren't voting at this time. They were still in the houses. So we have her like soaping like
Washing
laundry. Yeah.
And this was actually really cheaper than how we have it now. It's $1.50 and that's how much.
Well, we have to go now.
Bye guys, love you.
Bye.
You're blocking the camera.
We should do the
Wow.
thing. How like the YouTube girls do.
Oh yeah.